back to Afternoon Express, and today in the loft we are shining a light on a South African favorite gem. But before we get to our social media questions, I have got to reintroduce to you our very, very special guest for today. It's none other than Taki. Welcome back, Mummy.
Thank you for having me.
Now listen, love, you said you came hungry, but the real question is, do you know how to cook?
Girl, I love food. I love cooking. It's my love language. Making food is my love language for people. I will feed you.
Well, then, Dumi and you have something in common, and that is actually what we want to turn our attention to on social media, because we are celebrating National Amagwinya Day la eMzansi. We want to find out from you, filled with cheese, curried mince, fruit jams, or plain, what is your favorite way to eat Amagwinya? Make sure you use that hashtag Afternoon Express in all of your comments. Now let's get into our second recipe of the day. Today we are taking the traditional Amagwinya to the next level by stuffing it with a CLOVER Authenticos bacon and cheese filling before we fry it up. This sounds so yummy, Dini.
Because most of the time when we make Amagwinya, we fry them as is and then add the fillings after. So manja, we're trying to, like I always say, revolutionize a lap in the Afternoon Express kitchen, because we're like, you know, why don't do something different with it? It's a typical, simple little recipe or dish that you can enjoy in so many different ways, like we've asked South Africa. So, Manja, let's put a spin on it, right? Okay. So I'm going to make the filling. I see you've got some already made there, but I'm going to make the filling so you see exactly what goes into it. Okay. So I don't know if you're a cheese and bacon kind of girl.
I'm a cheese and bacon kind of girl for sure.
I think everyone's a cheese and bacon kind of girl.
Well, this is the base of our filling today. So I've got some bacon that we've fried up a little earlier and then cut into a couple of little pieces. And then we're going in with some cheese. So right now we're using cheddar cheese, but any of those melting cheeses would work. So your mozzarella cheese could also work here. Your Edam cheese could work. Any cheese that basically melts up nicely. You could even switch it up and add some feta if you're a feta person as well. I don't know what kind of cheeses you like, Taki, but any of
all cheese.
All cheese.
I'm also a very cheesy type of girl. And the thing about feta is that bacon and feta do go well together, but I don't see it frying up quite nicely when it's time to, or rather melting nicely when it's time to fry.
So that's why it's important to make sure your temperature is at the right amount, because if it's too hot, then it will only cook the outside of your vet cook, but the inside stays raw. So it is important to make sure your temperature is right, so it cooks through from the outside in, and then when you break it apart, it's nice and melty. I can taste it already. But let's just get into this recipe before I go into far. So I've also added a bit of cream cheese here, as well as some spring onion. Those are just for that onion flavor that you like. And then obviously we want to add a bit more creaminess to this, and that's why we're adding our CLOVER Authenticos plain yogurt. It comes in a couple of different flavors, Taki. So if you wanted to just perhaps snack on it on its own, you could do that, because it comes in apple and cinnamon flavor as well as a coconut. But it is literally the only authentic Greek-style yogurt that you can find in South Africa at the moment. So I'm just going to mix this up, and that's literally it.
I think it's time for us to move over to this station, because it seems like you got a lot to do, girl. You got a lot to do. Because at the end of the day, we want to see the finished product. So to me, put Utsaki to work.
Perfect. While she does that, can I ask you just to give a taste of one of those pieces we've got over there?
Cheers. Oh, you want to taste? Let's have a taste.
So while they taste, South Africa, as you can see, I've got some fully proofed dough over here that
This is really good.
Is it? Okay, let's make it. Let's make some so that the rest of South Africa can see how we got to this point.
You snapped.
Awesome. So take some. You see, she learns so quickly. I'm so happy that you are doing this accordingly.
I must get in there.
So what she did is she just put some oil on her hands to make sure that basically, she put some oil in her hands, which is the reason for that is to make sure the dough doesn't stick to our hands.
Should I put some more, or?
It's up to you. How full do you want it to be? How big do you want your Guinya to be?
I think a little bigger.
A little bigger. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's also another thing. The more the merrier. A lot of people, you know, there's nothing worse than going to that tuck shop. Yeah, one of that container there, and then they give you the most smallest little Guinya. You want those big ones.
And then all we do get exactly, well done, Mama. And then we just put the filling on the center. Make sure not to overfill, because you want to be able to seal it as well. And then all you do is you pull the ends towards each other, and you just seal it up to form a nice little ball. And then just make sure that you seal the end so that it doesn't come out as you roll, as you put it in the oil. And there we go. We've got our first one. And these babies just go in there to fry up until they're beautifully golden brown on the outside. The center is nice and cooked. Your bacon is nice and warmed up. Your cream cheese is nice and melted. And all those flavors.
Okay, ready.
Ready?
Is it safe to say that that's your first Guinya? It was at the first Gwinya.
It was. No judgment. It was.
Pride.
And there is no judgment, chat, because have I even rolled it out? Let's just start.
I'm always eating. I'm always on the eating side.
Well, on that eating station, we are going to keep you eating the entire show. So I'm so glad you came hungry. Mzansi, if you're also hungry for this incredible recipe, please do head over to afternoonexpress.co.za. I'm just going to have one more bite. Don't judge me.
Made with love by Clover.